Hey everyone, welcome back to Sandisa TV. Today, we're diving into a Twilight Zone episode that asks the question, what if toxic masculinity was literally contagious? That's right, we're talking about Not All Men, an episode that takes the phrase boys will be boys and turns it into a full-blown horror story. As always, beware of spoilers ahead, and if you enjoy these recaps, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We've got over 80 videos for you to binge, because what's better than watching movies? Watching someone explain them for you. A meteoric shift in personality. Our protagonist, Annie Miller, is just your average woman trying to live her life. She works at a fancy office, where she gets invited by her slightly too friendly co-worker, Dylan, to watch a meteor shower. Now, Dylan is one of those guys, the kind who insists he's one of the good ones but gives off mildly concerning vibes. They head out to a scenic lookout, where flaming space rocks fall from the sky. It's a romantic setup, but Annie, being a sensible human, decides to cut the night short. Dylan, however, gets a little too excited about the meteorites, picking one up like a kid finding a cool rock at the beach. And that's when things start getting weird. After Annie leaves, she gets a disturbing glimpse of Dylan's true colors. Through the window of his house, she sees him absolutely obliterating his record player. And not in a fun, rock star smashing guitars kind of way, more like a this man needs therapy kind of way. The town goes wild. The next day, Annie meets up with her sister Martha, who's celebrating her birthday with her husband, Mike, their nephew Cole, and another dude named Phil. You know, one of those gatherings where the men do their own thing while the women roll their eyes in the kitchen. Meanwhile, something strange is happening in town. Men are getting aggressive. A guy at a bar picks a fight over absolutely nothing. A mild-mannered waiter suddenly turns into a raging lunatic. And Martha's husband, Mike, who seemed like a decent guy, starts acting like he's in a Fight Club audition. Things take a terrifying turn when Annie and Martha leave the bar, only to be followed by a random man. Just as things get dicey, Mike shows up, and instead of defusing the situation like a rational person, he straight up murders the guy. No hesitation. No hey, buddy, let's talk about this. Just full-on, primal, caveman-level violence. The meteor madness intensifies. By now, the whole town has turned into Grand Theft Auto, Twilight Zone edition. Men are losing their minds left and right, picking fights, smashing things, and generally proving every point this episode is trying to make. Annie and Martha manage to find Cole, who, surprise, surprise, seems totally fine. He's just vibing, like, wow, Aunt Annie, things sure are crazy out here. Meanwhile, Dylan, the meteor-loving coworker, shows up for a final boss battle. He attacks Annie, trying to strangle her, but she fights back like the badass final girl she was meant to be. The truth comes out. After escaping, Annie, Martha, and Cole make it to a quarantine center, where they learn the supposed cause of the outbreak, a virus in the town's water supply. That's right, apparently, contaminated H2O is turning men into raging psychopaths. But then we get the big twist. Cole, despite having one of the meteorites in his pocket, is completely unaffected. Why? Because, plot twist, the meteorites were just a placebo. There was no virus, no alien mind control. The men weren't infected. They were just giving in to their own worst instincts. The meteors were basically a cosmic permission slip for them to let loose and go full primal. The aftermath. Eventually, Annie, Martha, and Cole are allowed to leave, while the media scrambles to make sense of the chaos. News reports chalk it all up to road rage and crime sprees, because, of course, people would rather believe it was a freak accident than confront the reality of human nature. And that's Not All Men, a Twilight Zone episode that's basically a horror story about what happens when toxic masculinity gets a supernatural green light. Final thoughts. What did you think of this episode? Was it a chilling social commentary or just a slightly on-the-nose metaphor? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out our catalog of over 80 videos. Until next time, stay safe, stay sane, and maybe, don't pick up strange meteorites.